So for my project, I decided to focus on the IST standard knowledge constructor, which is 1.3. So this standard, knowledge constructor, the standard is students critically curate a variety of resources using digital tools to construct knowledge, produce creative artifacts, and make meaningful learning experiences for themselves and for others. So, what exactly does this mean? So curate means to take charge of or organize, to pull together, sift through, select for presentation, to heal, and to preserve. So generally this is referring to work involving physical artifacts, such as things in libraries or museums. However, in the digital age, curation really cannot be a specialized skill anymore due to the large amounts of information available to anyone with internet access. So, sorting through the content, recognizing patterns and distinctions within sources, organizing them, grouping them are all skills that require higher order thinking and can be used to display and share knowledge or creativity. So, for students, digital creation provides a particularly useful and compelling means to acquire, construct, and demonstrate that deep knowledge. So the first objective, 1.3a, states students plan and employ effective research strategies to locate information and other resources for their intellectual or creative pursuits. So basically, think of this as just simply going out and finding the research. So using internet searching tools such as Google Advanced Search, which is what we learned about in this class, using a school or library database such as the university libraries that BG provides to find great scholarly articles, and Kids Search, which is, I did a project on Kids Search in my last class. It's a great search engine for young kids that will only provide child appropriate sources, will not show them anything that's inappropriate. So that's a good way for young kids to do research as well. And all of these images are linked to those different sites. For 1.3b, this objective states that students will evaluate the accuracy, perspective, credibility, relevance of information, media, data, and other resources. So basically, once they go out and they do all the searching and they're finding resources, they're evaluating them. They're seeing if they are good sources or not. So they're looking at the accuracy. They should ask themselves, when was this resource published? Are there links to other valid sources in this article? Is this a .com, .org, or .edu? That can really help students determine how accurate a website is. The perspective. So who is the resource trying to reach? What is the mission? Are there any indications of bias? Because that can really be big when looking for good sources if the author has bias in their writing. Credibility. So who wrote and published the resource? What are their credentials? How objective is the author? So is this person have the knowledge and skills to be talking about this topic? So that's really big to see how credible this person is. And then the relevance. Does this source even meeting the student's needs? Does it have the information they're looking for? So they really need to see if, while this may be on their topic, what are they trying to write about? Does this have the information they want? Is this worth them using? So for 1.3c, the next objective is that students will curate. So there's that word curate again. So they're going to gather, they're going to organize the information from the digital sources using a variety of tools and methods to eventually create these collections of artifacts that demonstrate those connections and conclusions. So for curating, one of the tools that I like to use when I'm curating for a research paper is this research journal that one of my professors provided in my graduate studies, and I really liked it. I thought it was a great way to organize all my sources. So it provides the date of research, the aim of the article, the citation, which you can use citation machine. That's something students can use to help with citations, and then all the details of the research. So basically, I used this by going through, organizing the ones I wanted to use, and I would read through the article, put all the information that I wanted to use in the details of the research. That way I could just reference this one sheet while I was writing, and my citation was right there as well. So this would be a great tool for students to use as well as they're curating. And that picture is linked to a Google Doc that has that document. And then eventually, once the students gather and they organize, they curate all of their resources, they're going to create something with it. They're going to make those connections and conclusions. So they may make a paper. They may do a Google Slides presentation or a Prezi like this. or a YouTube or a Live Binder. So that's how they will put all of their sources together. And then for 1.3D, the last objective, so students will build knowledge by exploring real-world issues and problems, developing theories, pursuing answers and solutions. So like through all the research and all the things that they're doing, they want them to explore real-world issues that are relevant. So they really construct and expand their understanding and perspective on the topic or idea through all of this. They not only find the interest, but they can also actively help with a solution. So this video down here from ISTE for this objective talks about students making prosthetics for people in their community. So that's a great watch if you have time for it. And then, so for the future, there are really long-lasting benefits for students mastering and learning these skills. So learning them at a young age can really benefit their future education. So as if get into high school or even college, if they decide to go further their education, there's a lot of research involved in those higher education classes. So learning these skills at a young age will be very beneficial for them, could benefit them in their careers, can also help them in their personal and social lives through social media and news. So they, get a lot of information on these platforms, and they can, look into how accurate these are, do some research on their own to determine the news that they're hearing. This video here that is linked shows some students doing some research and learning about some real world issues, if you would like to look into that video as well. So basically an overview, as I was going through these objectives for this standard, I was really seeing it was pretty linear. So the very first objective was talking about research and using those research tools, being able to actually find the resources, and then going through and evaluating. So looking at the accuracy, perspective, credibility, relevance of those sources and determining if they are worth using. Then once you've collected all those, you need to curate. So you need to gather, you need to organize them, get them ready for the last step, which is creating something, often using a Web 2.0 tool. With the ultimate goal, the little pictures at the bottom, looking at real world issues, learning more about topics, possibly helping to find solutions. And then this last one here is my resources.